Hello, this is Poser P, and I am back again with another Kurzweil programming tutorial, because what other kind do I do? Anyways, today I want to talk about how we do various analog modeling tricks on the Kurzweil PC3. So I'll probably do a couple videos about this. One of the things that I really want to get at is, first of all, how to do it, and second of all, why do we want to do it? We have lots of really great analog synths these days, and so the question is now, why are we motivated to learn how to do this stuff? And I'm not going to go into that in this video so much. We're going to go over techniques in this video, but in a future video I'm going to talk about why we might want to still be interested in how to emulate analog sounds on a digital synthesizer like the PC3. Aside from convenience and some of the other sort of usual reasons, I have my own reasons, and we'll demonstrate why those are important. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's go ahead and hit edit. We're going to start with 999, the default program. Hit edit here. We'll pick sawtooth key map. Okay, let's go to the alg page. The very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to pick algorithm 101. Now, on the Kurzweil PC3, what this does is this unlocks the phase of the oscillators and other things that you put in this layer. So what that means is every time you hit the key, I'll turn it up just a bit, every time you hit a key, the waveform isn't going to always start in the same place. And we're going to do another trick too here to ensure that the waveform doesn't always start in the same place relative to other oscillators that you might have in a program you're doing. So that's the first trick. Now, if you happen to program a forte, and I believe this applies to both the SE and the regular forte, this apparently does not work on the forte for getting your phase to float, essentially. That's what I have heard. Somebody might want to confirm that that's true, especially if you own a forte. But be aware that that's something to look out for. That being said, the other tricks that we do should generally apply across all the range of PC3 compatible instruments, from the PC3 up through the most current model of the forte. Okay, so let's go to the amp page. First of all, we're going to turn off key tracking, and I'm going to turn this way down. We're going to turn this way down too. Put it like right there. Let's turn it up a little. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we got a good solid signal. No key tracking. Let's go to the layer page. Now, here is trick 2. So we're going to pick, here on the layer page, we're going to go to, let's see here, let's find it, Grand V2 for the source. And we're going to set a minimum delay of 2 and a max delay of, let's put it around 0.8. So with this set, when you hit the key, there's going to be a slightly random delay in when this layer starts. Now, all the layers that cascade from this layer are going to have the same delay applied to them. So you can't, unfortunately, mix other oscillators into this layer or into any sort of cascade chain with this layer. If you do so, you will again, this layer delay will apply across all of the layers, and you'll be stuck essentially with having the same delay across all layers. So as we now build our voice, let's say we want to add more oscillators or things like that, there are going to be new layers that will not join up with this layer at any point in time in the cascade chain. So just keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and go to the alg page. Now we're going to add a couple of things here. The first thing I'm going to do, excuse me, my cat saying hello. We'll put her down there. All right, so we're going to go and we're going to add a noise block. And we're also going to add a gain block. And I'll show you why in just a minute. First of all, let's go back to this noise block. We're going to go to DSP mod. On the noise, we're going to set the level way down, but not really far down. We'll put it about 68 or 69. So you're not going to hear it, at least not on my speakers here, which are pretty small. But if you listen to when you're recording in a DAW, you will see that there is indeed just a little bit of noise. And one of the reasons I put this in here is because the way the noise interacts with the filter, and we want the noise to interact just a little bit with the filter. The reasoning behind this is that in older analog synths, you don't have perfectly quiet voices going into the filter. And so there's always going to be some little bit of background noise. And that's what we want to have, because again, that noise interacts with the waveform, and it interacts with the filter, and it adds some nice things to it. They're very subtle, but they're very useful in my opinion. Okay, so for this particular voice that we're going to program, we're going to use the envelope control page to modify the amp env, and we're going to do this. Whoops, excuse me. I want to use 24, or I'm sorry, not 24. I want to use 25, 26, 27. My custom is to use the last three, well, the second, I guess the penultimate three, F, G, and H on the PC3 sliders for envelope control. And since we're using a sawtooth waveform and we're modifying the natural envelope in order to get a longer attack, the depth of this one, we're going to set it very small. We're going to speed up the decay because that waveform does not decay. So there it is, decaying. And then we're also going to, oops, let's speed it all the way up. And then we're also going to lengthen out the release time because the natural envelope does not have. Now the release time and the decay time are somewhat interactive. That's something to keep in mind when you're programming. Okay, so now we have some nice volume envelope action going on. And this is pretty standard stuff. On the DSP mod page, we're going to do something special. We're going to put the gain down here to -96. This is because when we cascade later, I still want to be able to use this envelope to control the volume of the oscillator going into the filter. Now this is not a standard design. This is something that I've discovered that works really well for how the oscillator interacts with the filter. I like to have a gain block before there that potentially has an envelope attached to it. So in this case, we're going to set 120 for amp envelope, and for its 120 enter. There we go. For its depth control, I'm going to use the switch button, MIDI 29. And when MIDI 29 is on, I want the envelope to have full effect over this gain block. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm also going to go to the fun page, and we're going to go and hit MIDI 29 again, and we're going to put something small over here like 0.03. Now MIDI 29 has a max value of 127 and a min value of 0. When it's off it's 0, when it's on it's 127. So we're going to pick B greater than A over here in the menu. There we are. This will turn it into a switch that is true when it's off, and we want that to be the case here. When this switch is off, we want to just open this up so that we are not applying the envelope, the amp envelope, to the gain block. Whoops, and I did the wrong assignment here, excuse me. That's supposed to be fun one. There it is. Okay, so I'm toggling SW. You can't really hear it right now. It's not going to take effect a lot right now. So let's add in our filter layer. So we're going to go ahead and hit new layer. Go to the AUG page. I'm going to pick 105 because I like this one. And we'll pick layer 1 as input. We'll just pop back over here to layer 1 real quick and go to the amp page, and we're going to turn this level all the way down. Okay, so now the SW switch does do something in terms of gating the sound. Now on this layer 2, we're using the natural envelope again, and that's going to be whatever the key map is. I put it 174. So envelope on, envelope off. Now you can hear the effect of that. So with the SW button, I can now turn the envelope on and off. We're going to go to the AUG page now. I'm going to pick a different filter. Usually we do, a lot of people just kind of skip to the 4-pole Moog LP, and you certainly can. However, one of the things that I like is this 4-pole low pass with separation. And this is why. I'm going to go ahead and set this all the way down. We'll leave that at 0 for now. I'm going to set some separation here. And what this is going to do is this is going to kind of widen out the resonant peak. So when you raise the resonance, it's going to make the peak a bit wider. So it's not going to be so narrow. So you'll have more, a little bit more frequency that leaks through. For the source one for resonance, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to use the mod wheel. Most people put filter cutoff on mod wheel. I like resonance on mod wheel. And I'm going to put this at 20 decibels. So when we're doing emulations of keyboards that have non-self-oscillating filters, this is when you do something like that. And in this case, I don't want my filter to oscillate. This signal chain was inspired by the Roland synthesizers, and in the Jupiter, specifically the Jupiter 8, the filter is non-oscillating. So this is why I use this particular filter, is because I can set it to have this wider resonant peak. I can set it, so that it doesn't self-oscillate. It's just all around it. I get more usefulness out of it. Okay, so let's go back to the AUG page. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and output. Let's go to the amp page. So amp page is fine. I'm just trying to, let's turn off velocity tracking. Okay, yep, and that's fine. Okay. Oh, I know, duh, AUG. Okay, mod, let's go down here. I've closed my filter all the way. This is why I'm not hearing anything. Surprise, surprise. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the cutoff on the data slider so we can move that up and down. Now, I'm also going to go ahead and put the amp envelope on MIDI 13 with as the depth control, and we're going to set the max depth here so I can apply the envelope to the filter. Now, we're going to go ahead and on the amp env page, or I'm sorry, on the amp control page, I can't talk today, we're going to throw on MIDI 25, MIDI 26, MIDI 27, just like we did before, and I'm just going to zoom through these real quick, give these the same assignments. Now the filter, the filter is now controlled by the amp envelope on this page. So where we're at right now, we have our oscillator, we have our filter. The oscillator is has an amplitude envelope applied to it before it goes into the filter. And finally, what we want to do is we want one more layer. So we're going to go ahead and hit new layer and pop over to the AUG page. I'm going to pick algorithm 102, the cascading algorithm, and pull in from layer 2. Okay, so, and then on the key map page, I'm going to pick 174 for my key map. And then what I want to do is I want to pop down to layer 3, go to the amp, turn this all the way down. So there you go. You can hear the sound now coming through layer 3. We'll turn off velocity tracking. Now, for layer 3, I'm going to do something slightly tricky on the envelope control page. I'm only going to have the release slider function, and this is why. If I put release on the filter envelope, you're never going to hear it if this layer doesn't have release. Now this layer basically acts like a gate, and so as long as I hold the key down, this layer will actually sound, and we're going to use that to our advantage right now. Over here, I'm going to put another noise plus in, okay? Again, I like the effect that noise has on a signal path. Here, let's turn this down. I want you to just hear as I hold the key down. So you hear the sound, and I delay, or decay away, excuse me, and the noise still goes, so I can hold down a key, and as long as I hold down the key, you'll hear the noise in the background. So I'm going to go ahead. I used to own a Juno 106, and I would say that the noise was somewhere around in the neighborhood of 72 to 68 decibels down from 0. So for this particular emulation, that's what I'm going to pick. Now I'm also going to throw in on here an all-pass filter. Now this is sort of our final gatekeeper when it comes to phase, and making sure that phases between oscillators don't always magically align, and we get funky comb filtering and other things that happen when you have that. And that's what makes a lot of digital emulations of analog sound weird, is when you have this comb filtering effect, because all of your digital oscillators are in phase with each other. So for this, I'm going to pick, actually I want to go, yep, here it is. I want to pick Rand V2. Okay, and we're going to put a depth of about 100 cents. So this is not something you're going to hear so much right now, but it does have an effect when you start to layer voices. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and go back down to layer 1, and we're going to go duplicate, dupe layer, going to go to layer 2, going to dupe layer again, and we're going to go down to layer 3, and we're going to hit dupe layer again. So this is now a second set of voices. We need to wire them together. So this is going to go ahead and pull from layer 5. I'm on layer 6, so layer 6 pulls from layer 5. Layer 5 pulls from layer 4. Now, because we've done all these tricks with the phase of the oscillator, we have a nice, really solid bass. Now, as I keep pressing the key over and over again, you're going to hear it kind of go in and out of phase with itself a little bit, because these are playing in unison. And now we can do fun things like this. For instance, let's go to the saw. Let's go to this. Let's drop this by 12 cents. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put MIDI 24 on here, and we're going to use that to control the pitch. And let's go all the way up to layer 6 here. Let's turn our output down just a little bit. There's a bit of distortion going on because it's a really hot signal. So let's put that down around, what was that? It was 24, I believe. 20. Okay, we'll put it down around 20. Okay, and there we go. Those are some of the analog emulation tricks that I use when I really want something to sound analog, when I want it to have many of the characteristics of analog synths that I've played in the past that I particularly like. Let me show you now. I'm not going to save this. I'm going to go to some stuff that I've programmed. So I'm working on this soundware package called Jump, J-U-N-P. And this is so named because it has various characteristics of certain Roland synths to it. So we can do that, or let's do this one. Let's go ahead and let me just lower the tempo real quick here to around 56. There we are. Yeah, right there. And we'll enter in a little arpeggio pattern. Like that. That's obviously influenced by the Roland SH2. We have this sound. Let's take off the arpeggiator. To my ears, that's kind of a classic sort of Juno 106 kind of a piano sound that would work really well in house music and things like that. Okay, so that is it for today. I want to give you just a little preview, just a little taste of some of the fun things that you're going to hear in the next tutorial. And we're going to talk about this because we're going to take our analog tricks and we're going to apply them to the digital realm like this. So until next time, I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye.